stakeholders and institutions on the response when such things occur.
He, however, bemoaned teething challenges confronting their operations.
We have challenges with our staff strength. We don't have our full capacity. We have challenges in terms of having a geotechnical laboratory, which we can use to do these kinds of site investigations and tests. We have challenges in terms of even the national observatory. It is something that captures data for the entire country, but we don't have budgetary allocations for it separately. And maintaining those equipments are quite expensive. So that becomes a major challenge in even transmitting data from where we are capturing the data to the observatory where we can analyze.
To some other stories, where the Trade Union Congress says it has written to the Finance Ministry to exempt its members from the debt exchange program. We have more in this report.
Labour unions, institutions and other groups continue to raise issues with government's debt exchange program. Under the program, existing domestic bonds will be exchanged for a set of 4 new bonds maturing in 2027, 2029, 2032 and 2037. The annual coupon on all the bonds will be set at 0% in 2023, 5% in 2024 and 10% from 2025 until maturity. The Trades Unions Congress had earlier rejected the program on grounds that it would negatively affect its members. Taking further action on their stance, the TUC is asking government to exempt the pension funds of its members from the program. It gave government a 7-day ultimatum to act.
We would have thought that our government would do everything to protect even the small pension that we have. Instead, they are introducing programs inspired by IMF to cut further pension income. And as we used to say, we no go sit down. Yes. Therefore, the Trades Union Congress and all its affiliate national unions have decided that pension funds of our members will not be part of the domestic debt exchange program. We have dispatched a letter to the Minister for Finance. We are also demanding in that letter that within 1 week from today, government should publicly announce that all pension funds, including SNIT, are exempted from the debt exchange program.
The union also reacted to government's proposed increase in VAT by 2.5%. The TUC is of the view that government ought to find other alternatives in its bid to raise more revenue.
We vehemently opposed these tax measures and challenged government to use other measures to mobilize revenue, including 1, plugging the leakages in the tax system. And we know it, that there's so much going out into the drain. We also advise that they should rather improve the tax efficiency, because it costs too much to collect the taxes that we are collecting.
TUC added that government has failed Ghanaians by announcing a freeze on public sector employment.
Employment freeze in the public sector will be adding pain to Ghanaians. Already too many of our friends in the private sector are losing their jobs. So to close the public sector to new entrants, we deem it a stab in the back of young Ghanaians who have been educated at a very great cost, not only to their families, but also to the nation. What is the point of free SHS if graduates cannot secure jobs? What is the point? Why do you use our money to fund people through education, and then you block the public service from entry? So what is the point?
Let's talk about the economy now. The recent improvement in the value of the cedi against the US dollar is expected to be sustained for the remainder of the year. According to a currency analyst, Courage Boti, he's actually making that statement. The cedi, which started the year at 6 cedis 50 pesos, is now trading at about 12 cedis 50 pesos against the dollar. The following report has more.
A look at the performance of the local currency this year shows that it has not enjoyed a good run. It started the year 2022 strongly selling at 6 cedis 1 pesewa to a dollar. By mid-year, it was trading at 7 cedis 23 pesewas on the interbank market and 8 cedis 14 pesewas to a dollar on the retail market. This shows that the cedi had depreciated by 16.93% against the dollar on the interbank market and 20.27% on the retail market by mid-year. Fast forward to October 24, 2022, and the local currency depreciated further to sell at 15 cedis 35 pesewas to a dollar on the retail market and 12 cedis 53 pesewas to a dollar on the interbank market. Surprisingly, the Ghana cedi has strengthened in value against the US dollar and some other major foreign currencies. As at Monday afternoon, the local currency was trading at 12 cedis 56 pesewas to a dollar on the interbank market and 12 cedis 90 pesewas on the retail market. Currency analyst with GCB Capital, Kariji Boti, has been speaking to Citi News on what is accounting for the local currency's regained strength.
The strong performance, or if you like the appreciation, is actually not a last week thing. I think from my observation of the data, it's been about the last 3 weeks or so. Probably it was strongest last week. And then you would say this, if you like, counters the expectation from the announcement of a debt restructuring that probably the pressure will go to the currency really. I think a number of things are at play here. You know, from mid-September when the cedi started plummeting, it wasn't because of fundamentals. It was because of uncertainty. It was because of speculation. The last 3 weeks or so, what I've seen is, with some sense of clarity following the budget about what debt restructuring is going to look like, and the cedi kind of stabilize around the 15 cedi level, the natural trend would have been that it will start declining. And once that trend starts showing, the cedi is strengthening against the dollar, naturally people will start selling off their holdings. And I believe that is the kind of trend we've seen so far.
He also highlighted how the local currency will end the year.
Well, I saw 12 cedi 80 pesewas this morning. I've seen lower rates even for some other market segments. The interbank reference market is doing 12 cedi 55, I think, at the close of last week. And so those are positive trends, which I expect will continue for the remainder of the year. But as to whether we are getting back into the single digits, I think in a fluid situation, people are reacting to development as and when they come. And for how far we went and how much we have come, I think it's a bit fluid, and you would want to leave it. It's difficult to put a pin on something at this point in time. I feel we might continue this trend. Maybe an upper 11 cedi to a dollar is feasible, but a single digit, as in 980, 990, thereabout, it seems a big ask.
Although still quite high, the recent appreciation of the Ghana cedi will give businesses and consumers some respite amidst the current economic crisis. Stakeholders say they will, however, continue to push government to improve its efforts at strengthening the local currency. For Citi News, I am Nete Achaho.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Lokko. I'm doing this with Umaru, Sanda, Amadu. When we come back, academic activities resume in technical universities.
Finally, anyone can become a household.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Ugo Flip, a real estate gaming platform that allows you to play and stand a chance of winning a house or cash or consolidated prizes, such as savings towards a house. Simple and easy to play. Visit www.ugoflip.com. Buy a ticket to enter the game. Wait for the end of the game to enjoy the win. Anyone can win. Flip it or own it. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Play responsibly, not for persons below 18 years, and gaming can be addictive.
Creamy Plus is a fully skimmed evaporated milk. Creamy Plus is available in a shop near you.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
You're welcome back. Now, some market traders within the Accra Business District say it is impossible to strictly follow directives from the Ghana Union Traders Association that's good to reduce prices due to the marginal gains in the value of the cedi. Some attribute this to stocks bought at higher exchange rates, while others say the reduction in prices is dependent on importers and not the trading community. The following report has more.
The Ghana cedi has gained some ground against major trading currencies in the last few days, following weeks of unprecedented depreciation. Bloomberg recently rated the cedi as the world's best performer amongst 150 countries this week, gaining 10%. In October, when the cedi was at its worst, the Ghana Union Traders Association rallied its members to close their shops in protest of the depreciation of the cedi. As the currency appreciates in value, the group has called on its members to reduce prices to reflect the times.
We want to appeal to the trading community to adjust prices accordingly, even though we admit that most of us have bought the forest at higher prices earlier. But we should be able to track the necessary averages so that the consuming public will also feel the impact of this positive trend. It is very important, especially at this time, that we are going for the Christmas festivities, so that the consuming public will also be compensated to enjoy this festive occasion.
But the traders say these decisions are beyond them.
$dollar kese na yedikofa sisi omwate sono nioma na yekofa no dollar kese na yedikofa ne de beguo sisi omwate sono ye nkofa afoforo de yede dollar kese no kofa na no ana ewo hono nti yentimenti so yete so sa na yekofa agi yesan de bisoso ansana yasan akofa nti yentimenti so sa.
Reducing prices will not be from us, it will be from the importers. Once they reduce, we can also reduce. So if from now to Christmas there's any supply or there's any order that we're taking, if the price, once the price is reduced, we'll also reduce. It will also go back to the consumers. People are now starting to buy. Even though the market is slow, people are now starting to buy. Well, as of last week, some of the things were reduced. But this week it has gone back up again. So, like the mackerels, the sardines, some were reduced, but the prices has gone back. So as for it coming down, I don't think so. Coming down before Christmas, I don't think so. But hopefully we are just praying it becomes stabilized. It doesn't go up again.
Almost yati lorry fair no driver so sa na omuji etiti no $1 no cost so na sa ye wu yen hu hwe anu
shop we senya ye empty first ye to me coffee say to me feel free dollar no musa ko aba form no emba form sa na tititi na hwin ko suro enko form enye hwi ye hu hwi ye prices no there madam sa na no be beba na ye ka price na ye to hwi mu wallahi me na me ka che ye ti hwi so ye kofa nyoma na se no mu ka say sa no sa ye fa ye 1 Ghana ponti so ye di ka krebi sequence 50 pesos by the two swa enwa no.
The exporters tell Citi News that the marginal gains of the cedi on the forex market will not reflect in prices in the short period.
I must say that the marginal gains with the cedi appreciation to the dollar just within this week, the days are too young for us to say that we are going to ask the business community to start reducing the prices of their products in the market. However, why not? So far as we are going to study it, we want to study to know how long this thing is going to go by. It might be a day, it might take a 2 day, it might take a 3 day, or even a week. Of course, don't forget that importers have already paid so much duties and taxes at the port. At the time, the cedi was running between $1 at 15 cedis. Custom were using as much as 13 plus in calculating duty. So this cargo or these goods that are in our market now have already suffered with the cedi volatility when there was so much depreciation on our cedi. So I cannot sit here to say that yes, as far as we are getting good news about the stability of the cedi just within this short period, we will say that business community are going to reduce the prices. However, it can be an appeal to their conscience. Anybody who thinks that with the stability of the cedi gaining grounds on the against the hard currency, he or she would want to reduce the price, fine. But we cannot make it a general call to say that there has been some appreciative of the cedi, and so for that matter, price of goods will also reduce. What about those who have paid the taxes already? What about those who have paid so much duty rate at the port to clear their cargo? We cannot push on them now.
Let's bring you some more stories. Let me take you to technical universities across the country, and academic activities have resumed there. Remember that TUTAC, members of TUTAC, some weeks back declared a strike over conditions of service. Let's bring you more in this report.
It is vacation for students of the Accra Technical University, but for some, they are racing against time to complete their project work or risk graduating. Unfortunately for such students, their woes were compounded by the sit-down strike by their lecturers who form part of the Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana, TUTAC.
Academic calendar was not released because every student was expecting that academic calendar will be out so that they know as and when they are coming back to school and the activities that they will be. And then the result, end of semester result, hasn't come out also, because most people are also yearning for scholarships, and then they need their transcript results to apply for all the scholarship. But because the teacher strike was on, all these things were not out for students to get access to it, so it became a very challenge for students. So day in and day out, they keep complaining, when are we resuming, when are results coming, because all this still has to go through the academic board, which as at that time were not active. So it became a very challenge, and the students kind of complained day in and day out, and they wanted to find out when it will be called off.
TUTAC members for the past 3 weeks laid down their tools to negotiate with government for better conditions of service, including off-campus and vehicle allowances. Fortunately, after several inconclusive meetings between TUTAC and government, both factions finally reached a consensus on December 8, where the lecturers subsequently suspended the industrial action effective December 12.
Strike has been suspended, subject to further negotiations with government. And as you can see, my lecturers are back to campus to continue with their academic works.
Well, we understand that the students are on break, so how is that working?
Yeah, it's working out because we have other things aside teaching. You know, project supervision is going on, faculty board meetings are going on, academic board meetings are going on. We are preparing the students also for graduation and other things. So other academic activities are going on as we speak.
Are your members happy with where you've got into with regard to the negotiations?
Oh, sure. It's a milestone. I mean, trust me, talking about condition of service, nothing's more important than that. And once we've signed to that, I think it's a milestone, it's a key milestone, and we say thanks to God on that.
On Monday, despite students currently on vacation, lecturers were present to help with supervisory roles and other duties.
We have duly reported back to duty, and then as we speak now, we are working on students' projects results and then end of second semester results. We need to prepare this as soon as possible so that students can graduate after discussion from the department. So we are starting departmental meeting on exams tomorrow, and then on Wednesday it will follow at the faculty level, and then on Friday we have academic board meeting to authenticate the results and publish it. It's only after the results are published that the students can be prepared for graduation.
Students here at the Accra Technical University, the news of the resumption of academic work is some sort of a respite to them. They are thus hoping that this particular situation would not be experienced going forward. Meanwhile, the teachers have also indicated to Citi News that they have resumed work and are going about their duties as expected of them. Reporting for Citi News, my name is Kweku Eduamansa.
Members of the Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana in November this year embarked on an indefinite strike over internally generated fund-related conditions of service, off-campus, and vehicle maintenance allowances. The leadership of the union went into negotiations with the government and subsequently directed its members to resume work.
But we went to Labour Commission. Labour Commission asked that the parties sit down to resolve it. Finally, through the effort of the Education Minister, I think a lot of work has been done, and government has agreed that indeed government erred in taking that decision. So it has been reversed, and then going forward, the formula that has been used over the years is what will prevail. And because of the suspension of the mode of calculation, there has been some arrears, but we have made significant concessions. Okay, we are saying that some will have to be paid by the end of the month, and we realize that it will not be feasible because controller had already shut its system. So we are saying that in January we should see payment of these arrears.
Although some technical universities have postponed their reopening due to the strike, the leadership of the union says all members will comply with the directive to suspend the strike. The Student Representative Council of the Kumasi Technical University appealed to the government to resolve issues with the union to avert future industrial action.
Personally, I wasn't surprised TUTAG called off strike because I've had a couple of informal discussions with the TUTAG chairman, and in fact, TUTAG, they're always willing to serve with the student and our country, Ghana. So they didn't call off the strike because they are okay with the decision that the government took, but because they are willing to serve with the student and the government. So we are pleading with the government. We all know that the economic crisis isn't affecting only Ghana as a country, but worldwide.
TUTAG members are expected to resume duties with immediate effect after the strike was suspended.
Technical university students are appealing to the government to address all outstanding concerns to avoid any possible industrial action in the future by TUTAG. Hafiz Tijani, Citi News, Kumasi.
And here in our studios in Adabraka, Accra, I am Umaru, Sanda, Amadu, doing this with Vivian, Lokko. Still ahead on the Citi Newsroom. Minority raises concerns of inadequate funding for school feeding program. Please stay with us.
Katanye, GoTV nye, Kaweniso, enjoy all 64 games live on GoTV. Get your GoCoder and Plus at 89 Ghana cities. GoTV, love it.
It's City on the Go. You don't have to miss any of your favorite television and radio shows on Citi TV and Citi FM. Enjoy thrilling content from your world of great television and relevant radio at your convenience. Subscribe to Citi Tube on YouTube. Turn on your notification button and receive prompts on our live streaming sessions and new content uploads. For easy access to the Citi Tube page, scan the barcode on your screens. Subscribe to the Citi Tube page and voila! Unlimited content awaits you. Don't forget to subscribe to Citi Tube for amazing content from Citi TV and Citi FM.
Now, the race for the General Secretary position of the National Democratic Congress has become an interesting one as delegates are put in a position to fill the vacancy left by the incumbent Johnson Asiedu Nketia. The following report highlights the contenders in the race for the General Secretary position.
The General Secretary contest, which has got a number of delegates talking, involves the incumbent Deputy General Secretary, Dr. Peter Buama Otokuno. Mr. Otokuno is hoping to fill the shoes of his boss, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, after the National Delegates Congress on December 17. He believes working for the party in his capacity as the Deputy General Secretary makes him the best choice for the substantive position.
When you are in leadership with a team and there is failure, you should be able to learn lessons from the failure. If you are not able to pick experiences and lessons from any mistake that you do, then you are not deserving of a leader. And that is why the organization must get better. Because if you don't know the mistakes, you will tend to repeat the mistakes. If you are not inside the problem, you don't experience the problem, you tend to make those mistakes.
So you have learned,
so
you correct them.
Learned, and that is part of the bags of experience that I've had in the past. I think that it positions me very well to be able to deal with the challenges that will come in 2024. But most importantly, you see, I was talking about an attribute of somebody who understands elections now, somebody who understands party management, somebody who can consolidate the party base, somebody the party grassroots can identify with, somebody who shares in the aspirations, the pain, the difficulties, and the experiences of the grassroots. That kind of leader will reflect the expectations of the people. Okay. And that is why I believe that I have become the leader of choice at this time. Okay. Because I have been with the party people over the years, with my service in humility, with my relationship with the party, being around the country, being with the party people. I know what they are expecting of us. I know their problems, and I reflect their problems. And that is the more important reason why I have to be the next general.
A former sports minister and director of elections for the National Democratic Congress, NDC, Elvis Efriye Ankra, hopes to be voted into office by delegates as the next General Secretary of the party. Mr. Ankra says he has gone through the mill and deserves to occupy the position. According to him, he will introduce a number of reforms needed to win the 2024 elections when he is given the nod.
My leadership started from the University of Ghana. If anybody understands the university culture and what it means to be elected as president of the university, they will understand the kind of leadership qualities that I bring on board. and subsequently as NUC's coordinating secretary based on my performance. And then coming into the party as a parliamentary candidate, and then at that time, very young, but being chosen by President Mills to become a deputy campaign manager for his primaries, and then becoming a deputy campaign manager for the main elections, and then going to become the deputy general secretary. The deputy general secretary is one breath away from the general secretary. So the position I'm seeking, I've been there, one step below. And I've acted as general secretary on several occasions when Honorable Esiedun Ketia traveled out of the country. So I've done the job. I know what it entails, you know, and I've been doing it, and then campaign coordinator for the main elections. And I told you in our constitution, it states very clearly the role of the general secretary.
For former Minister of Transport, Fifi Fiavi Kwete, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, needs an astute General Secretary to steer its affairs to win the 2024 elections. The former Ketu South MP believes the implementation of systems to effectively monitor activities before, during and after the general elections is key in winning the 2024 elections.
In 2020, we saw that situation. My two colleagues I'm contending with both were in that situation in 2020. One of them was in charge of the elections, that's the director of elections. The other was the deputy general secretary in charge of operations. So effectively, those two were in the very heart of the operations of the party, and they clearly failed in their job. They both slept on their job. One who was in charge of the director of election was unable to ensure that even the collation of the result was done on time. And of course, if you fail to collate result on time, you cannot blame the opponent for stealing that election. I was communication officer or propaganda secretary in 2008, and I took an additional job of collating results on behalf of this party, and we did it on time, and that was what saved this party in 2008 when MPP tried the same thing that they tried to do in 2020. They failed to do.
Let's take you to Parliament and look at issues to do with the school feeding program, because some members of Parliament are unhappy with the irregular funding of that policy.
One of the challenges has to do with irregular funding. Funds for the program has been irregular. As you speak, we are in the third term, and my checks from the grounds indicate that the school feeding secretariat has only paid for the first term. So second term, even though some caterers offered their services, they have not been paid. And they are in the third term. And so because of lack of funds, what is happening is that in most of the schools, if the caterer does not have the capacity to fund the program, then they will not provide the food at all. In some of the schools too, because of the inability to raise funds for it, you don't even see the caterers. We are even receiving reports that in many of the schools, they don't have the school feeding program. So the cost has become too huge. Meanwhile, nothing properly is being delivered to the people down there. Because of inefficiency in the monitoring process, again, irregular funding, the program is almost collapsing. The quality as well as the quantity of the food that is supplied has been compromised. Now, if you visit any of the schools and you look at the quality of food that is served to our children, you'll be more than worried. If you should look at the quantity, you'll be angry, because resources are not being provided and the caterer is being taxed to look for funding for the program on his own. So if the caterer is unable to do that, what do you expect to happen in our schools? So some of us were expecting that we're going to witness some kind of a relationship between the program and agriculture, even at the rural communities. They could have organized some farmers to produce the food that the people will consume locally, so that it will have a relationship and a bearing on the farmers. They produce and there's a ready market for it. If that's happened, then you can have a smooth running of the program at a lowest cost.
Well, that's it for today's edition of the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Lokko.
And mine is Umaru, Sanda, Amadu. Thank you for watching. Be with Citi TV. It's your world.